What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another comic breakdown. Today we are diving into one of the craziest, most high-stakes Spider Family stories Marvel has given us in a long time. We're talking about Amazing Spider-Man Spider-Versity, specifically the epic conclusion in issue number 5. But to understand how we got to this insane showdown where Norman Osborn becomes the Red Goblin again, we gotta go all the way back to the beginning. Look, we all know Norman Osborn's history. He's the Green Goblin, he killed Gwen Stacy, he's Peter Parker's greatest nightmare. But recently, Norman had his sins expunged. He was cleansed. He even took up the mantle of Spider-Man when Peter was lost in space. He was trying to be a good guy. But the thing about Norman Osborn is that darkness is always right there beneath the surface, and he knows it. He's terrified that one day the Goblin is gonna come back. So what does a billionaire genius with a guilt complex do? He opens a school. That's right, welcome to Spider-Versity. Norman decides the best way to atone for his past is to train the next generation of spider heroes. We're talking Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, Silk, Araña, Spider-Boy, and Spider-Girl. But because Norman is still Norman, his idea of training is basically trying to kill them. In issue 1, written by Jordan Morris and Joe Kelly, with incredible art by Pere Perez, Norman literally attacks the kids. He separates them, puts them in one-on-one combat scenarios, and picks apart their weaknesses. He's playing the villain, acting like a complete psycho to force them to step up. Now, Miles, being the good kid he is, tries to see the best in Norman. He's got that Peter Parker forgiveness in him. But Gwen is looking at the guy whose alternate universe self threw her off a bridge. She is not having it.
Luckily, Norman isn't running this school alone. Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, is there as a co-mentor, and she is basically acting as Norman's parole officer. She tells him straight up, if he crosses the line, she will put him down. She's got a motorcycle, he's got a glider, and according to Joe Kelly, motorcycle beats glider every time. Moving into issues 2 and 3, we get this awesome mix of intense training and superhero college life. We see Cindy Moon, Silk, just trying to enjoy the college experience she missed out on because she was locked in a bunker for a decade. We get dorm room banter, we get Silk and Ghost Spider putting on a music gig. It's great character stuff. But the training never stops. Norman unleashes upgraded Spider Slayers on the kids. He's got them fighting holographic versions of Mr. Negative and the Ringmaster in his Danger Room setup. He's giving them dossiers, expecting them to do their homework. It's Professor Osborn's School of Hard Knocks. And in issue 2, there's this fantastic scene at a bar between Jessica Drew and Norman. Jess calls him out. She knows that putting the guy with his psychological damage in charge of powerful kids is a ticking time bomb. Norman insists he's trying to help them reach their potential, to prepare them for the worst. But the irony is, he is the worst. Which brings us to issue 4. The training has pushed the spiders to their absolute limits. They are exhausted. And that is exactly when the real threat hits the campus. Carnage. Now, Carnage has been having a weird time lately. He survived the Death Spiral event, he briefly tried playing hero with the New Avengers, but Cletus Cassidy's symbiote is pure, unadulterated evil. It doesn't understand altruism, it just wants chaos, and it finds its way to Spider-Versity.
Carnage attacks the school and immediately grabs Spider-Girl. The kids are scrambling. They're trying to use everything Norman taught him, but this is Carnage! And this is where Norman makes a fateful, tragic decision. To save the students, to defeat a monster that he knows they can't handle, Norman realizes he needs power. He needs the darkness. So in a desperate move, Norman Osborn bonds with the Carnage symbiote once again! That brings us to the grand finale, Amazing Spider-Man Spider-Versity issue 5, The Red Goblin Returns! If you don't remember the Red Goblin from Dan Slott's run back in 2018, it is one of the most terrifying things in Marvel Comics. It's the cunning, the intellect, and the madness of the Green Goblin combined with the raw, shape-shifting, bloodthirsty power of Carnage. He's got pumpkin bombs that talk and bite, he's immune to fire and sound, and he doesn't trigger spider sense. Norman thought he could control it. He thought he could use the symbiote to save the kids and then take it off. But the symbiote doesn't work like that, especially not with a mind as fractured as Norman's. The instant they bond, the good Norman is gone. The Goblin is back in the driver's seat, supercharged by Carnage. And Norman has become the monster. The synopsis for issue 5 calls this the final exam they didn't study for. Miles, Gwen, Silk, Araña, Spider-Boy, and Spider-Girl are now trapped on campus with a god-tier villain who knows all of their weaknesses because he is the one who analyzed them in issue 1.
It's a brutal, desperate fight for survival. We see Araña using her magic, the Crimson Bands of Cyttorak trying to hold him down. We see Miles unleashing his Venom Blasts. We see Gwen and Silk coordinating attacks. They have to use every single lesson, every painful training session Norman put them through to fight Norman himself. The tragedy
tragedy of it is palpable. Miles wanted to believe in him. Jessica Drew warned him, and Norman's own fear that he would become the villain again became a self-fulfilling prophecy. He built the school to train them to defeat him, and now they have to do exactly that. Does the Spider family survive? Do they manage to separate Norman from the symbiote? Or is the Green Goblin back for good, ready to torment Peter Parker once again? I'm not gonna spoil the very last pages for you. You gotta go pick up Spider-Versity number 5 for yourself. But I will say this, Morris and Kelly delivered an absolute banger of a miniseries. It took a while